Welcome to Couple Habit number 2. Following video is a two-part video. It is not for the faint at heart, and it is a video about reverse racism. Reverse racism is a thing. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you think you know, but to be honest with you, what do you really know if you haven't experienced it? Excuse me. You know that other people have experienced it, but 9 times out of 10, when other people experience stuff and they explain it to us, and even me, you may exaggerate a little bit. It builds drama to the story. It doesn't make it any less true. You just may have hyped it up. Believe me, I don't hype it up. I just talk too much. The videos I recently posted about the elderly Asian man getting beaten took me back to this, which is why I'm doing this video on reverse racism. All day today, actually, before I even saw this video, I have been thinking about reverse racism and how it has affected my life. Because I don't know if white people do this. I'm on the fence on Asian racism towards other Asians. I know it exists, but I'm on the fence. Because I haven't witnessed it firsthand. Well, kinda not. No, I may have witnessed it. I'm not really sure if it was like racially motivated, but I have slightly seen some Asian on Asian racism. But I have experienced racism on 3 levels. Alright, so in my guts and glories from kindergarten to college, I've had maybe 4, then it's a big fucking capital M, maybe 4 racist incidents with white people. And I'm including from kindergarten to college. In 3rd grade, I punched a white girl in the mouth for calling me a nigger. That was like the first time I ever had heard that word, because we didn't have those words in our house. In middle school, I had suffered some half-breed jokes, and that went from Walker all the way through Buford and even into high school. But no onward physical threats. The only physical threat was me to them when the white girl called me a nigger, and I punched her in the mouth. I have never forgiven myself for that, because even though she called me a nigger, I had already knew martial arts, and I probably should not have struck a female to begin with. And I will carry that with me until the day I die, which is why I don't strike females now, unless they're kin to me, or unless they're martial arts and we're sparring, or I'm teaching them how to make moves while we're making a movie. But most of the racial things I've had with white people has just been words. And some, I can't really say if they were being racist or genuinely just didn't know, because it wasn't more insulting as the word nigger was, as in just being a dick. And by that experience, I mean my last years of high school, when I worked at Kegler's, and the white guy kept calling me Chief. And to me, Chief was just as bad as being called a nigger. And those 2 things were like the thing. I got one white girl to call me a nigger way back in grade school, whose mouth I bust open. And then one guy who wouldn't stop calling me Chief on a job for 3 years straight every weekend. Hey Chief, hi Chief, what's up Chief? My name is, hi Chief. And I'm like, my name is not Chief. And then in between those 2 times, there was like another incident, but it wasn't really that bad. And then like, as an adult in my 20s, I can't really say this was racist, because it was more like curiosity. 2 times I've had young white men, because one, I was doing a jumping spin kick outside of a Kmart in Richmond, and kid said, hey, that was cool. I don't want to offend you, but what are you mixed with? I was like, well, I'm part black. He said, no, what else are you mixed with? And I was like, okay, well, I'm part Cherokee and I'm part white. And so that wasn't really what you would consider racist. I would consider that curiosity. There is a difference, people. And then time when I picked up one of my younger sisters, and the white kid came to me and bluntly asked me, "Are you some kind of Indian?" And I said, "Well, not all the way, but yeah, I have Native American in me." And that's kind of how that worked. I can some kind of bad. So hopefully this will all show up when I, you know, now as for black racism, oh God, man, through grade school, through high school and middle school, the main thing that was always said to me, and this wasn't just out of curiosity, this was just straight blunt forward shit, In grade school, it was, "You're not a real nigga, you're a half nigger." In high school and middle school, it was, well, we don't really like you, your kind, James, because, you can hang with us, but if we go somewhere, you can't really go because you're not really black, dude. You talk black, you cuss out your ass, but you're not really black. And you don't have black hair, and you don't look black in the face, and you're not dark enough. You're like high yellow, so, you're a half breed. That kind of shit resonated. Until this day, I still get shit from black people. Some of it purposely, some of it not purposely. I applied for a job once, and I marked down black because this is a right to work state. If you lie on your application, they can fire you. So a lady looked at me and asked me. She says, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Ma'am." And she was from Africa, and she was darker than me. And I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, I know what color I am. My birth certificate says Negro, so I put down Negro." And she goes, "Yeah, but you don't look like you." I said, "I'm mixed, but back in 1973, that was not an option on your birth certificate. And if it was, they didn't give that option to my parents, so they just put me down as Negro. So therefore, I put down Negro on everything that I sign. I put down black. I don't hesitate to put down black. That's just what I put down, and I get the same shit every time I apply for a job. And it's like, your application says you're black. You don't look black to me." And I'm like, "Okay, look, dude. Here's how this works. I'm multicultural. I'm also part Cherokee. I'm also part white, but my birth certificate says black, and I'm also part black. So I put down black because my birth certificate says black. And in the Commonwealth, if you lie on your application, cha-ching, we got a reason to fire your ass. So yeah, I'd like not to get fired for lying on my application, but they kind of think that I'm lying on my application. But yeah, it gets worse from there. But those are job-related instances. I didn't get a job because I was black once, and I refused to cut my rat tail off, and that was a problem. I also basically got fired for not being black enough, I guess, or for being too Native American at the time because I went off the warpath. I tell you guys these stories, man, But I've had most of my racist incidences from other black people. I've had two, and only two so far, Native American or Asian racism, so to speak. So the first one that I had that counts as racism was I was talking to a Native American girl who was on a wheelchair basketball team, and the Native American elder, he jumped down my shit. He insulted me on so many levels and told me that I could not talk to her because I was not pure blood. And I had never heard that term before outside of the movies. Like usually when we talk about the movies, it was like shit like Blade or some shit like that. And the term pure blood for Native Americans got a whole nother meaning than like being Blade and being half vampire and shit. This non-pure blood traits, man. This is like some new shit to me. And he's like, "We don't want you talking to her. We don't want you looking at her. We don't want you to do anything near her." And me being the bold, blazing dude that I am, because they had sent her away. And I spoke up and I said, "First and foremost, I don't give a damn what you say. My ancestors are Native American, and I have every right to speak to whoever I want. And don't think that I won't hit a man in a wheelchair. And you're tribal. I'm part Cherokee. I don't remember what tribe they were from. But I straight told him, I said, I'm not afraid of you. and saying it's kind of up to her if she wants to talk to somebody who's not pure blood. Sadly, that team never came back after that. I'm pretty sure it wasn't my fault, but they didn't come back to any of our tournaments after that, and I didn't have anything to do with the tournaments outside of filming the damn thing. But yeah, she played on the team. He played on the team. They played on the same damn team, and he was like a tribal elder. I'm pretty sure he wasn't her father. He might have been an uncle or something, but that does not make him any less of a fucking dick. Which is why I said there's just as many Asian Native Americans that are racist as there are blacks, as there are whites, because I've been there. I've lived that shit. So, for my other Asian experience, this happened in college, and this young lady was Mexican, but she looked Japanese. She, you could not tell she was Mexican. She didn't have Mexican skin tone. I looked more Mexican than she did, or at least that's what I thought. But I had to do a report on Japan, and she literally looked like she would be a Japanese girl. So I talked to all the other Asians in the room until I got to her. So I talked to like two guys from the Philippines and two guys from Vietnam. She was the only Asian girl in the room. Everyone else was white. There were more girls in the room than guys, but she was the only Asian-looking girl in the room. Kind of find out she's Mexican, which means she's still Asian because she's coming from the Incans, Aztecs, or the Mayans, and whatever Native American tribe that spawned the Mexicans that I forgot. Amazon, they're also Asian down the Amazon River in South America. So I went to her. I told her, look, I spoke to all the other Asian males in the room, and I have to do some sad Japan bashing for my report because it's on World War II. It's also about shoguns and samurais, and I don't want to offend you, so I need to know if you're Japanese, and I want to prepare you so that if you want to leave the room before I do the report, I don't want to offend you while doing the report. And it's the same speech I gave to the Vietnamese guys and the Filipino guys. Only she came back with, fuck you. You look more Chinese than I do. And my mind just went, what? And then she says, first off, I'm not Chinese. I'm fucking Mexican. And I looked at her like, ain't no way in hell you're Mexican, because like if you're Mexican, I'm fucking Hawaiian. But I actually can pass for Hawaiian. That's another story. But so I gave my report. And other than that, the only other time I could say that I had a racist incident, it was an incident, not a straight blatant racism, was when I found out that Native Americans were Asian when I was working out my bow staff, and one of my dearest, greatest Asian friends, who's the son of a preacher, I'm leaving names off, came up to me at pt1. And there's a basketball court where I was at the time. There was no basketball court. There was just a big open hill. And I was working my bow staff, and this little Korean dude comes running up the hill. I mean, he was flying, and I got totally butt fucking scared because at the time I had heard about like Asians going around challenging martial artists, and y'all probably don't know about this in Charlottesville, but I had heard about it on some underground Vine thing. It wasn't on a computer or anything, but there had been rumors about Asians going around beating up people who was doing martial arts. So I assumed that shit was about to happen to me on college grounds. I couldn't have been closer to the truth with that. So we got to talking. Because when he came up, I whipped my stick around and got ready. He's like, no, I'm not here to fight you. I just want to see who you were and what you were doing. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, my name is James. He's like, so, you're mixed, huh? And I was like, yeah. He's like, what are you mixed with? I said, oh, dude, I'm part Cherokee and part black and part white. And he's like, oh, well, Native Americans are Asian. And this is how our friendship began. And I missed this guy. I haven't seen him in a long time. And I said, no, we're not. We're from Atlantis. And I'm not Asian. I'm part Native American, but I'm not Asian. And he's like, I tell you what, because we were in our public speaking class, which is now why I can't shut the hell up. I used to be a really quiet guy. So we go in, and he's like, all right, before class, let's go to the library, and if I prove you wrong, you will no longer say that Native Americans are from Atlantis, because y'all are not from Atlantis. And I was like, but dude, we got like spirit animals and shape-shifting abilities and all that other shit. I said, y'all don't have that in Asian folklore? Apparently they do. But Anyway, same thing with like Sasquatch and stuff like that. And so I'm gonna continue in the next video what happens next.